Yes. So I'm sure your listeners are going to be appreciating. We'll be DMing you asking for recommendations.
Go ahead.
But going back to the bucket versus a stream. So my sister, she has been very focused on that bucket, my older sister. And it's like, she's amazing. She's great. She's super good at what she does. I have deep respect. I couldn't do what she does. But a lot of doctors have that mindset of the bucket and waiting for that retirement, waiting for that bucket to get big enough in order to feel like they can retire. And when you look at it from a stream, something about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like it was a light bulb moment when I thought, well, what if everyone's worried about tapping into Social Security, but what if you create all these passive income streams and create some diversity into it so that you're in several deals and all together, you create a target, whether it's 10,000 a month or whatever, but accumulate enough passive investment to replace, as you said, your W-2 job so that it can be a choice. It's work optional, to go full circle on your phrase, which I love and I'm probably going to have to adopt. But
so I borrowed it too, so there's no copyright there. So, all right. So I'm looking here at some of the notes and I want to get through this one question here because what we're going to do is I think we got enough to talk about. I'm going to turn this into 2 shows. So we'll get through this question and then we're going to phase through the little break here and we'll finish some more. So everybody listening when this is published, come back for the next episode because there's more good stuff. So, but here, how does a divorced single mom of 2 caring for sick parents, that to me, that's just terrifying. I'm like, oh my goodness, I would probably have just been crushed at this point. So now it gets worse. With over $1 million in debt, she financial independence. That's amazing.
I can't say it was easy. And when I said that it was a hustle and a marathon, it definitely has been. There's a well-known author who I deeply respect, Viktor Frankl, who talks about the meaning of life. And when you know your why, when you know your purpose, that was my parents and my children, and trying to create this independence. Those are my whys. That's what gets me up in the morning. And that allows me to move forward. I'm very grateful that I was given the skill sets, like the foundational skill sets, like a lot of your listeners, highly educated. They've done the checklist,
Yeah.
Purchases of the house, maybe not the white picket fence, have like their 2 whatever children, been married, etc. And they're looking for, I guess, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. They've done their work. They want to be able to kick back. I unfortunately wasn't given those sets of cards, but I was given, fortunately, a lot of grit, a lot of resilience, patience, determination, and the skill sets that I took from tech, the analysis, the strategy, the persistence, to kind of never give up. And that's one of the lessons that I would probably share for active investors. So there's a difference between the passive and the active.
I think I would, even for the passive, as a doc, when you're super busy, you're working a bunch of hours. And this is the way I felt when I first started. I was working 60 plus hours a week. My kids are in activities that I'm missing too many of them. Otherwise, you don't have time already for things that you want. And now you're like, okay, I want to learn how to invest in real estate. And it's like, well, I don't have time for that. But what I love about these stories, when you stop and look at what people who have really come through some hardship and busted through it, you're like, okay, I can. Do I have 10 minutes a day? Do I have a half an hour a day? I can start making these little steps and it picks up steam. And that's what I did. I'm like, okay, I'm going to spend a half an hour a day learning about how to invest in real estate. And a week later, I'm like, this is going to take forever. A month later, I was like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Started investing in deals, learning from those deals. And 6 months later, I'm starting to get returns off of those. And I'm like, okay, where can I find some more money?
There you go. So you brought up a really good point, and that's one of the key lessons learned. I carry this all the time. I'm a little old school, even though I'm in tech. I write my to-do list on this little journal and also some notes, etc. And there's always that one thing. There was another book called like The One Thing. And you write down, a lot of us write down things like laundry, groceries, just to clean the house, do some work-related deliverables, etc. But if you kind of flip the script a little bit and focus on like, okay, this is my end goal. This is like the purpose, and then backward engineer what my why is, what I end up wanting. So if it's 10K a month passive income stream, then how do I get there? And then kind of do it in mini steps. So as you said in your earlier 10 minutes. So is there one thing I can do that will move the needle just slightly towards that end goal of 10K? And that's kind of how you do it. There's no like winning the lottery. It's more, what's the one thing, the micro moving of the needle?
Yeah. I think for docs, maybe it's tough because we've done that. If you went to medical school and went through residency, you had this goal way out there that you were working towards. But I think the big difference is that path was laid out. It's like you saw the whole staircase and you saw the different sections of the staircase and you knew you had to walk up the staircase. Well, with this, it's more intimidating because you don't see the whole path when you first start. And that's a great analogy that a friend of ours, Trevor McGregor, gave me. It was, you don't have to see the whole staircase. You just have to see the next couple stairs.
True.
Because if you can see the next couple stairs and you make that little bit of time, you can take your time, climb up the next step. The steps beyond that will reveal themselves. And as you keep going, it
reveal how far of a distance you've climbed.
Yep, it happens and you get there, but it's not going to be laid out. There's not the board review course to lay out the whole path for you ahead of time. But for me, that's part of what was fun, is this whole new thing revealing itself and like, wow, this is possible. It's not against the law. You don't have to pay as much in taxes. So
yeah. So you can protect that stream by creating borders around that and making it bigger, faster through the tax deductions and benefits. And also, I'm big on education, and through my website, if I may, there is, for the viewers, I write lots of free education. One is on the tax guide to passive income. So since we talked about that, so if it's in my blog section, so if you go to investingwithfire.com and spelled out just as one word, maybe you can include that.
Yep, that should be in the show notes. So
great. Is if you go to the insight section, that's all education. There's a blog section, which I literally write about everything. As a former economist, I write about the economy and where it's going. I actually was really humbled with the invitation to listen in and talk with Ben Bernanke yesterday. So I totally nerded out on that. I did ask him the question about the 2% kind of arbitration, where the Fed is going. I discussed tax benefits, 1031 exchanges. I talk about accredited investor versus non-accredited. And the ex-techie in me was talking about different tools that you can use that if you're an active investor, you can fully utilize. And even if you're passive, you can certainly check them out and play with.
Awesome. So check those out. Those are in the show notes. And so there's our lead to come back and listen to the second half of this conversation. We've got now an economist and the tech background that Michelle also has a background in AI and how this effects can be used in real estate investing. So please come back and listen to that, and we'll see you all soon.
This has been an episode of Surgeon Syndicate. If you got value from this episode, you know other surgeons are hungry to become job optional, and you can help them by sharing this content today. Schedule a call and we can make a plan. Looking forward to having you with me on the next episode.